Roger Sedam began his broadcasting career at KODI-AM in Cody during the spring of 1961. It went something like this. His good buddy Jim Moore was working at the station when Roger stopped by one night to wait for him to get off the air. Roger ended up filling in doing the news for Coke that very evening at 9 p.m. This fateful night inspired Roger to get his FCC third-class license with broadcast endorsement in June of that same year, the summer before his senior year at Cody High School. Roger worked nights and weekends at KODI for a couple of years, filling in as needed. In 1963, he worked a few months at KXLF Radio, one of the Radio XL good guys in Butte, Montana. A college education called Roger back to Cody. While attending Northwest College in Powell, he filled in as night jock on the Coke Night Flight show and as a weekend disc jockey. Remotes were also on the rise in the 60s, and one of the most popular and one of Roger's favorite was broadcasting from the Malt Cup on top of the Tasty Freeze drive-in on the west edge of Cody. The remote may include a 25-cent malt or hamburger, but no matter what the promotion, kids would flock to the drive-in, and being practically a kid himself, he loved it. This gig became extremely exciting one summer night when an electric storm sent a flash of lightning right behind the building, going through the electric system. Roger said that when his hair stood on end, that was the end of the remote for the evening. Roger was often called to be an MC for different events in Cody, such as the Buffalo Bill Dollies, the Metsi-Dosi Indians, and Bob Edgar's sharp shooting exhibition from the front porch of the Irma Hotel. Broadcasting the Stampede Parade and simulcasting it with the public address system on Sheridan Avenue for the folks on the street was also a big hit and continues to this day. Roger has announced the Stampede Parade for 44 years in a row. In the early 70s, Roger's career included news director, advertising sales and sales manager, and like many small stations would often need to do logs for the next day. During this time, KODI became an NBC affiliate, taking news feeds on the phone lines from New York. On weekends, they'd carry the old monitor that NBC carried. That was when the control operator would basically just babysit the board. Roger loved that shift because he could climb up on the roof in the summertime, catch a few rays, and watch tourists go down Sheridan Avenue. One of the many highlights of Roger's career included meeting many dignitaries that come to Cody to be the Grand Marshal of the parades. The biggest honor was to meet and drink with John Wayne. During the 60s, when KODI was an NBC affiliate, Roger had the pleasure of recording Kurt Gowdy when he'd be in town. Kurt would call up the station and ask Roger to get some sports stories and any final scores off the teletype. Then Kurt would come to the station to record them, ad-libbing the stories, of course. Hometown hero Al Simpson was always one of Roger's favorites to have in the station. He also enjoyed his time with Al on the volunteer fire department. Whenever he was in town, he always came to Party Line to update the fine citizens of Cody. In 1991, KODI and KTAG-FM went dark. Roger was part of the group that was formed to buy the stations from the courts after a bankruptcy trustee pulled the plug. KODI went back on the air with a handful of ads in April, and then, after considerable updating, KTAG followed in June. After many successful years of operation under Roger's leadership, KODI and KTAG were sold to Legend Communications in 1999. In January of 2005, Roger became mayor of Cody, a position he holds today. Even though his city duties keep him busy, he is still a popular MC for many city organizations, such as Ducks Unlimited, Knights of Columbus, and other state conventions, including the Elks, Eagles, the Republican Party, and others. Roger's family has always played a part in his success. Pat, Roger's wife, helped the station in straightening out the front office staffing. They have 2 children, Sherry from San Diego and Danny from Greeley, and 4 grandchildren, Amanda, Jamie, Nicholas, and Justin. The Wyoming Association of Broadcasters is honored to induct Roger Sedam into the WAB Hall of Fame, the class of 2008. We thank you for the contributions you made to the broadcast industry in Wyoming.